gonna talk about meeting all the Guardians.
Hey, what's up? This is part 3 of our series.
Alright, so this is week 2 in February that I am with Sarah and we're filming. And like I promised, we'll get to the videos where we're meeting the Guardians. But first, let's just talk about, I don't know, we're just watching the videos in order. So whatever comes next. Alright, today is day 2 of me coming to help Sarah film. She already got dressed and we were ready so fast, but then we have to wait for our COVID test results to come in. We got our lunch. Lunch. Okay, so here's some really cute selfies of us at school. Wow, how cute. Look at that. We just finished. She did school for like 4 hours, but it was cool. They did a scene where they were throwing a bunch of invisible animals across the spaceship. Sarah, so talk about your day filming that scene, because I really enjoyed watching it. What scene were you filming and what did you do?
Basically, in this scene, we were exiting our planet to Knowhere.
And you can see it in the holiday special, like where they're rebuilding right now, because it's I believe, spoiler, I think it's like destroyed after Endgame. I think it's one of the places destroyed, but it was basically being rebuilt in the holiday special.
That is Knowhere, and we were escaping to that place, and they were Knowhere citizens that were basically grabbing us and taking us there and helping us escape. So there was that one scene, and then another scene was helping some animals escape. I thought there was gonna be like a plushie or something maybe like that I could actually hold in my hand, but no. We had to hold air, oxygen, so we had to bend down, get something, and we were put into groups. And I spoke with my group and I was like, oh, how about we carry a medium-sized animal like that? And I'll pass it to you, and I'll pass it to you. So we basically created kind of like a little script, kind of improv of how we were gonna do it, because they all need to be the same size. If I lifted up a tiny little ant and then the person that was next to me did this, it would not look realistic. So we kind of planned that out with the person that I was working with, and that was an amazing scene.
You just randomly got assigned to a group, and were you in charge of the group? Or did James tell you what animal to hold?
So basically, they're like, okay, do whatever you want with the scene, really. Just carry some animals and help them escape. And I was like, first we'll do a pig, then we'll do a rat, then we'll do a little ant. It was actually one of the adults that was in the group that had the idea of kind of like trying to pull the pig.
Yeah, I wonder how they're gonna do the CGI for it. It'll be really interesting. I believe at one point Sarah did get a little like actual plushie with like marks on it for CGI. You're supposed to be like a duck or something. I remember like Sarah like can't keep hold of her belongings, so I got it, and I had to carry around that like little stuffed animal thing for the longest time, and then I almost took it away from set, and this lady came up and was like, no, give that back to me, and I was like, okay, sure. Well, it was interesting because like there's one side of the scene where it was filming on the spaceship, so it was on one soundstage, and then the reverse of that shot is them arriving onto this new, like docking onto this new planet Knowhere, and so this was a different soundstage, right? And so that soundstage literally looked like the Star Wars like outpost, whatever that's called, in Disneyland. Much more like I could like see it in front of my eyes. It was very dusty. Shout out to all the Knowhere citizens. They were all really sweet. Maria was also there too. She filmed a day. Maria, who plays Cosmo. She's the voice of Cosmo, but they have an actual dog to play Cosmo. But sometimes they would have her in the CGI suit.
She went down on her knees basically. And she was in the shape of a dog. She
was about to like collapse, so she was like shaking like that. And so they did the motion capture for her like shaking. So you want to talk about your favorite scene with there's Sarah, but then there's adult Sarah, who plays one of the Knowhere citizens.
I loved the scene so much. So adult Sarah had to be attacked by a monkey. But here's the thing, there was not like an actual monkey or plush or whatever. So it was so funny in my eyes to see her getting attacked by an invisible monkey. So they basically had her, and then she had to be attacked by a monkey. So she was screaming so loud, and the monkey was like jumping on her, but she was just trying to get it off, but it was just air. So it was so funny to see how amazing she could imagine it to be there.
When they do the VFX stuff, so they have the people in the CGI costume. So like Austin doing Groot, Sean Gunn doing Rocket, Maria doing Cosmo. But then they'll like remove everyone from the scene, and then they'll just film like the scene background with a Groot head. And then for Rocket, they have a plush Groot, but for Groot, they have a Groot head to lift up at the height of Groot, what he's supposed to be. And then like the silver ball on a stick.
Yes.
And then also a color palette next to it. It like absorbs light, and it basically will tell a computer how to light Groot properly, like how the lighting was in that room. So.
Oh, that's so cool. I never knew that.
I also didn't know what Groot was gonna look like until the holiday special. I was like, oh, he's like pretty cute. He's muscular. We are gonna move on. This is the moment where we met Chris Pratt. This is the day where we like had a 30-minute conversation with Chris Pratt. We saw they were shooting this scene with all the explosions and the wire, and we got to see Chris act like right in front of us. It was just so cool. And so he was really sweet. He talked to us for how long? Probably like what, 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
He also gave us hugs like a couple times.
Oh yeah.
I was just like and then we took a picture too, so I was like,
yeah.
I was shaking. We talked about the Guardians of the Galaxy ride in Disneyland, how I went on it, and the director told us about his friend that went on and she passed out a few times. And then I talked to Chris about Onward, and he talked on and on about Onward and how like that was like
the story.
I know, he was talking about the story. We talked about you acting and your age. He also sat next to James Gunn, the director, who's really nice, and he showed us all like the animations and stuff. We petted James's dog, Lola. We met his wife, who's also an actress. Talked about she's gonna film a scene in the future where kids are dancing in March. And then he eventually said he needed to step away. But before that, we asked him to sign these things. He said sorry for the dust, because he got his debris on there. Sarah talked about his dab, dab, dab.
Dab, dab.
Dab, 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 dab.
My favorite was giving him hugs.
Oh yeah, that was good.
He gives the best hugs. I'm gonna cry. When I asked him how long they work on set, and he said for this they stop filming after 10 hours, but people are there longer, directors there longer. For some of the other like indie films and other films, they film for like 12 hours.
He kissed my hand.
He kissed Sarah's hand.
Hey, what?
Are you gonna watch it?
No.
Oh no, you need to watch it. Which hand did he kiss? Oh, we found out James Gunn is Baby Groot.
Oh yeah,
he is Baby Groot that's dancing. I got to see his like director's card that had all the Rick and Morty's on it.
Oh yeah.
Meeting Chris Pratt was literally like the best day of my life still.
Yes.
Like literally for both of us the best day of our life. But we talked about the new Cosmic Rewind ride because at the time that ride was not open yet. But since then we've been on the ride.
Yes,
and what do you think about the ride?
It was such an amazing ride. I loved how we got to like spin around.
We were talking about like heights of actors, and he was like, yeah, if the girl actor's taller, they have to dig a little ditch. And I was like, so like Zendaya and Tom Holland. He was like, yeah, I totally forgot. Like they're friends because like Chris and Tom literally did a whole movie together.
Oh yeah.
What was really cool is I remember in the following days, Chris, he remembered us and he would like say hello to us.
Yeah.
Like there was one day when we were on set kind of late getting her makeup off, cleanup, and he was in front of his trailer.
Oh yes.
With that little light. I think they call it in film like a glow bug or something like that. It's basically the light that like pops up. But it's not for like lighting a scene, it's for lighting like trailers and like outdoor areas. And so I remember we were walking out a makeup trailer, and so I'd never seen one before. And did you know what it was?
No, I did not.
So none of us knew what it was. We were literally just like staring at it, like literally like bugs. We were just like staring at it. And Chris comes out of his trailer because he's going home, and he like has like a mini conversation with us, and he's just really sweet.
Yeah.
And then he says like, "Oh, drive home safe, okay?" and like stuff like that. So he was really sweet. Today is day 4 for Sarah, day 3 for me. So we got sandwiches, and this breakfast sandwich looks amazing.
I'm craving that right now.
Oh yeah, it rained that day.
Oh, the bonnet.
Yeah, you want to explain your little bonnet?
So basically it was there to protect my yak hair wig from getting wet and soggy.
They were like stressed because I remember for Will, like their makeup people was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna have a trail of gold following him like a leprechaun because like all the gold's just gonna get washed away. Here's the next video. This is another lunch, and I didn't realize they would give me this much food. It was so good. What is this? Oh, is this the done? Oh my gosh, yes. Yes! There's a big trend going on.
It's like from Encanto. It's like he told. Yeah, it's like some trend on TikTok.
And then here's the next video. Crafty meal. This one's one of the best ones, right? We got the gnocchi. That food looks so good.
Oh, I look so bad now.
Okay, I remember that day. So that was the day that we came back to set for just school because she had to make up school hours. And like they didn't have the whole cast there. I think it was only Nebula and Rocket doing a scene. And so they didn't have the traditional like fill out the sheet for Crafty. So we went to actually where the Crafty was being served so we could look at the food. And oh my gosh, the food was amazing that day. It slapped so hard.
Slapped?
And then these next pieces of footage are from us walking around the set. We got a little tour of Trillis Studios. They filmed other Marvel movies at this studio. We did have a PA with us and he explained what movies were being filmed where, so it's really cool. Which, side note, the holiday special was being filmed at the same time as the main Guardians movie.
And I saw Drax wearing his little sweater.
And we saw Drax wearing his Christmas sweater, the one with cats with lasers coming out of his eyes. So it was cool because like they would literally film it simultaneously. They would like film volume 3 one day and then the Christmas special the other day, and they would like alternate like that. Here's us walking around set though. All right, so we're on the studio back lot and we're doing recess. But here to your left side is where Spider-Man Far From Home was filmed. This warehouse here is the scene where they're on the Statue of Liberty. All the 3 Spider-Man fighting. And then over in that soundstage apparently was Happy's apartment, which was a 3-story working apartment, which is like actually insane. It's a lovely day out, and over there they're filming the Haunted Mansion movie. I answered my own questions in here. All right, here's the next video. Also, we found out some really cool information today too from lovely PA that apparently the starkids are like from animals or something made by that prophet guy, which is gonna be the villain. So that's why she looks like an animal. Oh, so up until that point, we didn't know why she looked like an animal. Because they don't tell, I'm not even kidding you, they don't tell us anything about the plot, like nothing. We're on a soundstage and this is like a little, it looks like a little city here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. So first it was Will in the makeup trailer. Well, first he was in the hair trailer. Sarah talked about Chronicles of Narnia and how she's reading the second one, and he was, because he's in that one.
He was really surprised and he's like, oh, that's great.
And then I remember he gave me a fist bump, which is really nice.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, me too.
He left, and then later on Sarah left, and then we went to the makeup trailer, and then he was at the makeup trailer too. I talked to him about if getting the paint on tickles, and he was like, just the ribs.
There was a scene and Groot was carrying him like this. He had to be unconscious. He was like, and then I had to be his head marker, so they would know where his head was and they would know where I was. So I had to stand like this close to his head. And I was so scared because he was like shaking and he was like,
Oh yeah.
and I told him about that and he was like, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to make you scared. I was like, no, this should be a compliment. You're really good at acting.
And he was like, oh, that's so sweet. I told him, I was like, the fans are gonna love you in this movie. He was like, oh, thank you, I hope so. They're gonna really like him, especially after reading the script and reading about what he does. I'm like, they're gonna like him at the end. And then he had that little diamond thingy imprinted on his head. And so now the part that we've been waiting for, drum roll. Now we're gonna talk about meeting all the Guardians. By meet, I mean like had an extended conversation outside of set. That's what I mean when I mean meet. Now here are the rest of the Guardians. So like Zoe, Dave, Palm, Karen. So here's the next video. This is after we met the Guardians. Now for story time for meeting the Guardians. Karen was so nice. She had a like arm thingy that looked metallic, but it was actually made out of like silicone rubber. And she, this is my baby Groot. And she was just really sweet. She let us touch it. She was like, do you want to feel it? And we were like, sure. And then she talked to us for a while, but she had the makeup stuff, but she was so like willing to talk to us. And she talked to us about, I told her we love Jumanji.
I can't remember stuff. What was that? What was that southern
So
accent?
both of us have bad memories, huh? She's so different from her character Nebula. Like, it's kind of crazy. Even her voice is very different. I later talked to her about the "it's not ripe" line, and she told us how it was white chocolate.
I'm Groot.
But Zoe was really nice. I talked to her about Avatar and about the Pandora world in Disney World. And she's like, oh yeah, I've only been there once. And then we told her about how we love her reels. She actually edits all of them and posts them herself. And she was saying that next time Sarah remakes it, because we told her how we recreated one, that we need to post it and tag her so she can repost it. She showed us one of her unreleased reels, the one where it was like transitions between her at home and then the golf cart here. So it was like a lot of transition reels with her children in it. And she was like, I'm gonna post this one next week so I don't post too much every week. And then I used to talk to Palm. We talked to her about the Krabby Puppy line. Is it Krabby?
Crappy.
It's Krabby Puppy? I thought it was Krabby. We just loved getting to learn more behind the scenes, so asking them different questions. And one of the questions I remember we had was, if you see Mantis before her CGI, she has little stubs as her antenna. They're not like elongated.
And they marked them with a little line. So the visual effects CGI people can edit antennas on to her head and it looks like they're moving.
And one thing that she mentioned to us too is that her antenna, they help her feel and things like that. And so they will be animated to react to how she's feeling and how she perceives her environment. So it's really cool just hearing more of the purpose of the antenna and how they're animated like that. So one more thing that happened after we were meeting the Guardians was that they signed a little piece of paper for Sarah. But stay tuned because that's gonna be in part 4.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Go check out the previous video on this side of the screen and the next video on this side of the screen. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment down below, and follow me on Instagram at SarahAnn_official.